Good afternoon. Fintech Insights is a cloud platform, subscription-based, that uses real bank accounts to analyze and present functionality and user experience of digital banking offerings worldwide. Also, positions and benchmarks the banks between them and channels. This is pretty much the homepage. You can see in the middle updates. Highlights logged by our analysts, and on the right-hand side, the updates they make that are continuous. So let's go to reports to illustrate the positioning case. We choose one bank from the banks that we have there, the sample, the collection for this demo. We chose Barclays and Web. That immediately takes us to what we call Scientia's Quadrant, that positions banks in their market. These banks that we collected in this sample. On the x-axis is functionality score. That means the number of transactions and functions. And on the y-axis is the UX, or the average user journey score, as we call it. So it's UX versus functionality. You can see our bank there. And by hovering over, you can see the other banks as well from this collection. If you go further up, you can easily substitute for another channel, and the quadrant will change immediately, obviously, or the bank. So that shows the positioning. Let's jump to the left, to the functionality menu. We have 15 categories of functionality where we log everything we find in banks. Our analysts do that. From online account opening to PSD2 and PFM. Let's illustrate a case. Let's go to money transfers, and let's select from the large menu a local currency transfer to a local bank. That would immediately show us a video of an actual user doing actual transaction with the time it takes a human to do the clicks. So we have the video, but even more importantly, if we go further up, we can pick up the use cases. These are the most prominent user cases that we designed around this transaction. So if we select one, the simple one, then we have again the video of this use case, just like in the functionality. But more importantly, if we go further down, we have the flow chart of this user case. Every box is a detailed user action, from omitting a header to selecting from a drop-down list, to clicking something, to typing something. You can see the green circles with the negative numbers. These are the penalties we impose on every detailed user action based on the necessity and the usefulness of this step. Summing up these penalties, we eventually led to the score of this user case. That somehow shows how well the user case is designed. It's important here to state that you may say these are arbitrary numbers. Well, more or less. The user of Fintech Insights can make his own penalty lists, just change numbers in an online facility, and make different files for different customer personas. For example, young and digital, one file with penalties. What you consider is less or more important. Adult user, another. All right. Let's jump to the dashboard and functionality and start seeing comparison of banks. The banks that we chose in this collection, you can see the whole line up here with a functionality score, the number of transactions and functions. If we select one bank, Barclays, as a primary bank, you can go further down and see how this functionality is distributed in the 3 channels, web, iOS, and Android. And the curved lines are the banks with the max and minimum functionality score. In this, again, collection of banks, not everywhere. So you can see where your channels stand fair against the other banks. Same thing on the right-hand side with the user cases breakdown. And if we go further down, we go, OK, drilling in capability, you can go to further details. If we go further down, this is an important graph for me. This shows the bank we selected, Barclays in this case. What is unique in Barclays, and the market doesn't have it, in blue, and what the blue part has unique, the market, and Barclays does not. and with the black is what they have in common. So this is an important graph when you start designing a roadmap for next development, what your competition has and what you don't. And these are the details of the exact transactions that you are missing or the others are missing. We can make head-to-head comparisons by selecting another bank. Here we can select Bunk as secondary or more banks and see head-to-head comparison in all three channels again with the drilling capability and with a min and max bank stated in each category. I'm sorry I have to go fast and talk a little bit too fast, but it's only 7 minutes, we have to fit everything. And here, Barclays against Bunk, what each one has unique and what do they have in common. That's pretty much the general concepts. We can go and we can see more details, of course. On the left-hand side, we have the black menu. You can select here from the collection of these banks, select and deselect any bank you like to form new graphs. Further down, you have the three media channels, web, iOS, and application, and Android. And further down, of course, the functionality category, so you can form nice queries of your own, like which bank has the best functionality, best payments in iOS, in Android. All right, let me just close by saying that Fintech Insights comes with an annual license to the banks. A bank buys an annual license that just a subscription, no software, no hardware, that gives the bank an unlimited number of users inside. We have analyzed more than 60 banks, big banks mainly. We keep adding, rolling out at least one bank every week, and we would like to see you all.